Hey guys, what is up? So right now what you are doing is looking at the do now and probably thinking to yourself, what? I forgot how to do this. Do not worry. So the first thing we're going to do is simplify this fraction over here, which is 6/8, and I'm going to use the CFS to help me out. So the first thing I have to do is determine the greatest common factor between the numerator, which is the top number, and the denominator, which is the bottom number. So I have to find the greatest common factor between the two. So what I did here is I wrote down all of the factors of 6 and of 8. And again, the greatest common factor is the biggest number that they both have in common in your factors list. So the biggest number that they both have in common is 2, which means the greatest common factor is 2. So that's the first step in the CFS. The second step in the CFS is that you could divide the greatest common factor by the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so once I found my greatest common factor, what I'm going to do is, like I said in the CFS, divide that by the numerator and the denominator. So I'm going to divide by 2 over 2. 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. And so your final answer should be 3/4 because the only factor they both have in common is 1. So if I'm looking at 4/6, here I listed out the greatest common factors. And again, between 4 and 6, the greatest common factor that they have in common is 2. So you're going to go ahead and do the same thing. I could divide the greatest common factor by the numerator and the denominator, so you're going to go ahead and do that. And what you have to do is make sure that your final answer is in its simplest form. And the reason why I know 3 and 4 are in simplest form is because their greatest common factor is 1. Because factors of 3 are just 1 and 3, right? Because 1 times 3 is 3. Factors of 4 are 1, 4, and 2. So the greatest common factor that they both have in common is 1. So that means that I have to divide by 1 or just leave it the same. So you're going to try this one on your own and see what you get.